Good afternoon, guys. I hope this finds you all well. And, I think the political game in Ireland needs to change significantly. I really think it needs to change. Because when you look across different parties, you look across all of the things that are going on across the social media space. And, I think the politics it's becoming more and more just an insult battle between people rather than people sitting down and actually doing the jobs that they're meant to do. Right? We see a reflection of what's going on within the parliament, within itself, all across through different areas of society. And that's been my biggest issue when it comes to looking at parties. And I've had different meetings with so many different parties, and there's very few that actually have the genuine interest of the Irish people at heart. And it's shocking because every year people are out there asking you for their votes. They're promising you guys the sun, stars and the moons. They're promising all of us the sun, stars and the moons, but they're not delivering. And I think something needs to change. I think the people need to make a stand and say, no, enough is enough, right? We've had enough. And it's a huge disservice because what the politicians don't understand in the political parties, and for some people it's a career move, right? For a lot of people it's just that, but there's families struggling, and you hear stories every single day. I just had a phone call last week of a family that is dealing with a very serious situation with regards to a young child getting care, getting support, that is diagnosed with, on the spectrum. So it's tough, and it really is, and that's the thing that bothers me, and that's the reason why I really began to use my voice, because I realised that not only is the media playing this game of division and trying to label people as different things and really just antagonise the Irish people and bully the Irish people, but what they don't realise is it's real working class families that are struggling. It's real communities that are being destroyed by the issues that are going on in the country. The cost of living in this country, families are literally scraping the barrel, living in conditions that they're not good. And even for human life, right? And this is where it bothers me. And I put this question to a lot of the political classes out there and the political parties. Have you no compassion? Have you no compassion for human life? Have you no empathy for human life? Because while you're playing this game of, this game of insults and this game of you guys progressing rather than actually doing the things that the people need, rather than actually being out there and supporting the communities that need support, that need help, you're too busy promoting yourselves. You're too busy doing the things that don't necessarily matter, and families are being destroyed. Families are being hurt. People are in a situation where they're very desperate, and something needs to change. Something really needs to change. And I'm sorry, but people got to take authority, and I go back to it. When all of these things were happening before, we sat back, right? Many people sat back and watched this happen. The condition that Ireland is in, people allowed this to happen. So gone are the days, and I think for true change to take place, people need to stand up and say no more. No more of us giving our votes so cheaply away. People have to value their votes. Your votes are very important. You have power. You, the people, are the power. And as long as governments are not serving you, then they do not deserve your votes. And that's the way it should be. If they can't be held accountable, let the people hold them accountable based on the decisions that you make going forward. There's real power in the Irish people. There's power in everybody within this country that's in a position to vote, that's in a position to contribute, right? You're the contributors to everything that goes on in this country. The people, you are the crown, you are the jewel. And as long as you're not being valued, then don't don't just be moved by people that speak so well and all of these things. And I've said it before. Many of you have contacted me and said, you should go for this, you should do that. Again, and I say to people, don't be impressed because I speak so well. And I'm quite fortunate that I know a lot of people in a lot of communities, and I've helped a lot of people, and we do a lot of work within different communities personally, because I just find it that way. That's my burden of life. It's to give back. But anybody else and anybody, and I always ask it, make sure before you vote for somebody in all of these elections that are coming up, make sure their core values align with who you are and they're capable of delivering what they said. That's an important thing. Don't be moved by words alone, right? It's very easy to say the right thing. And these politicians and a lot of these other, I suppose, political groups, they sit there and think, well, what can we say that the people want to hear? Well, gone are those days, yeah? And you got to understand, you got to read people's real language and see who really understands who we are, who really understands where we come from, the struggles that we face. And there's many problems across this country. The farming industry are facing incredible amount of problems. But again, it comes back down to the people making decisions. Have they worked a hard day in their life on the farms? Do they know what the winters are like for farmers? Do they know the struggles that farmers go through on a day-to-day? Do they know the families, the mother that their child is diagnosed with autism, their child is struggling, they don't have care, they don't have accommodation, the real struggles that the everyday working class face? Do they know that? And if your answer is no, then you need to be careful about the decisions that you make. So that's just my message today for the Irish people. And there are political parties out there that I believe... Look, I've had many conversations. I know where my views align and where different people's views align, but you got to make sure that certain things align for you. And is your best interest being looked after? That's the most important thing. Because you got to understand, I think it's time for the Irish people to really value themselves more. No disrespect meant in that, right, to anybody at all, but you have to really understand the power the people have, and I think that's something that's been missing. It's time for the people to regain the power and take control by the decisions that we make as citizens within the country. God bless.